Hey everyone, I just woke up. It is 6:30 on December 14th, 2022, and it's a really cold morning. We're heading out right now to go see a culvert pipe I discovered last night. I waited until morning until we unclog this. This one, that when we unclog it, there's going to be a good amount of cracking ice. There's some pretty thick ice on the little pond that's being backed up, and there's going to be a lot of loud cracks. Last night wasn't that bad. It got down to 13 degrees, not the worst night for sleeping in the vehicle. The night prior got down to, I recorded -3. That was a little tougher of a night. I had to start the vehicle every couple hours because I'd wake up a little bit cold. Last night was not that bad. I got a solid 6 hours of sleep without waking up. Sun is just coming up. We have about another 50 minutes before it's fully up. You know, sometimes I do get worried being this far away from a signal in this type of weather. It's so cold out, and I do worry sometimes that the vehicle just may not start one of these mornings. But haven't had that problem yet. In fact, a couple years back, the first day I got home from a place like this, the vehicle didn't start the next day, and they said it was a bad battery. But I'm prepared to stay out here for quite a while. I usually carry 4 tanks of fuel when I first head out, so I can be out here for sometimes a week at a time. I got my propane heater, at least a week of food. If I needed to, I could probably start a fire. Actually, it's 8 degrees out right now. You can't always trust the car temperature sensor, because if you're sitting there idling, the engine's heat starts coming out towards it. Alright everyone, now I'm going down a road right now. They have a bunch of warning signs at the end of it telling you the road is closed. That's because a couple weeks back a truck fell through one of the rotting bridges and it's blocked off now. But there is a road that's kind of overgrown that bypasses it. I guess a lot of people don't know about it. Is that showing up on the camera? Do you see all those little twinkles and sparkling going on from the frost in the grass? It's really pretty in real life. Alright, this is it. This is the detour around the closure. Not a bad looking road. But it does get swampy. At least in the summertime, it should all be frozen now. Alright, we reached that area that I said is usually swampy. It is all ice, and the ice is very thick because it just keeps trickling out of the ground. Yeah, we got some good slippage. Yep, lots of groundwater. This would be an absolute mud hole if it wasn't cold out. I remember one time I almost got stuck on one spot of it. Very slippery. You can see a lot of that water is actually not frozen. It's still trickling. It's coming out of little holes everywhere, like little tiny geysers all over the place, just being forced out of the ground. And it just keeps accumulating thicker and thicker as it freezes. There's little springs popping up all over the place. Because groundwater, it'll come up through any little gap in the bedrock that it can. And it's nice and warm, so it's never gonna stop. Love that noise. Gotta shut these windows, it's so cold out. And did you just see that culvert I drove over? It was so damaged. Here's some big, deep ruts. This road was muddy not too long ago. All right, everyone, we're back to the main artery again after bypassing the closure. We will be there in just a couple minutes, and I'll gear up and we'll get going with the unclogging. All right, everyone, we are arriving up on this frozen culvert pipe. I just got geared up, you know, all that kind of stuff, extending the tripod, switching out my boots, changing my clothes further down the road, just so I could have a couple minutes to drive and heat back up. It's very cold out. It's currently 6 out, and we're pulling up. You can see right here on the left side of the road, the water was in the road. Maybe even crossing. There's a clogged culvert right here. We're gonna park right here in this little pull-in and then walk down here. Park right here. This is an old abandoned gravel pit. They put those stones there because I guess they don't want you camping in here for some reason. But this is usually where you see a lot of guys doing shooting practice. All right, everyone, we're about to start this. You can see we got a good amount of water coming out here, but we have a blockage blocking maybe 90% of it. Look at all this frozen foam. That's caused by rotting organic material. When it gets agitated, it turns into a suds, and it all froze. Yeah, that's pretty solid. But you know what's really solid? The ice over here on the pond. Look at that. It's not thick enough where we won't be able to break it around the pipe, but walking around out here, definitely thick enough to do some walking around. I just walked around a little bit in this swamp, and we could not find any beaver lodge. It's very tiny. It only goes back like 50 feet. Then there's a beaver dam with another pond where the beavers would be living. Now this place here, I know a lot of people leave comments like this because they always say, hey, you're always only talking about the beavers. What about the other creatures that live in these ponds? Well, by unclogging this pipe, we're going to only drop this thing down about a foot. The pond is still going to be here. There's always been a pond, swamp, whatever you want to call it here. It's just going to be back down to its normal level. And by looking at this, I don't even know if this blockage is fully the beavers or not. It looks like a bunch of storm surge just plugged it. Alrighty, everyone, here we go. This is the coldest unclogging we've done all year. 6 degrees out. Woo! Whoa! The ice got so slippery now that it's wet. You see how the stick is frozen way out into the ice? Those kind of things like that can make it a pain in the butt. Woo! We're already dropping. You're gonna hear some violent cracks across the pond. All the debris around the edge is all frozen into the ice. It's not a very big pipe. we've already got it open. It's only an 18-inch culvert, it looks like. There is no evidence at all that it's the beavers. These are living bushes, that's not even part of the clog. Ho ho, wow. Yeah, we got that thing fully open fast. Whoa, we're cracking like crazy. I'm gonna back the camera up a bit so you can see some more cracks happening. It's scary being out here while these violent cracks are happening, but I know it's okay. The ice where I am right now is like 6 inches thick. I'm just gonna leave you guys here for a little bit so you can enjoy the sounds of the cracking. It is very cool. It's not very often when we actually find a place like this in the winter time. And we will also be back in a few days to check this out when it completely drains. While you guys are watching this, I'm gonna go ahead and put away my stuff. Put away camera number 2. I think it's better if you're looking out from the road because you're gonna get to see things starting to collapse. Take a look at the other side. That is blasting like crazy. That might even melt all that out of the way. All clear. That was pretty cool. So far, so good. It's been less than 10 minutes, and we can already see the rocks it's getting hung up on. Now, this time, it would start to become dangerous now to go out there now, since the vast majority of these ice sheets are no longer supported. And that's why I decided to bring the camera back out to the road. But I can see a lot of places the ice sheet has already collapsed, and like over there where it's all dark, water started coming up onto the surface of it. This is very cool. Look at this. The water, you can see trickling up out of this crack, and you see it slowly extending across the top of the ice. That's because as the water goes down, this ice sheet is pushing further and further down because it's getting hung up on that rock. Right here is now unsupported. Just like over there, that area right there is starting to fill up with water. That was pretty cool over on the other side. I had to go down there and actually smash some of that because the ice was in the way. It was blocking some of the debris that went through it. Yeah, this thing's already lost like 4 or 5 inches in 10 minutes. It's amazing. The pond's not that big, that's why. And I don't see any really beaver debris. That was not a beaver clog, which is amazing considering there's a beaver dam right up there. But it's probably abandoned. They probably relocated them because it's so close to the road. You can see right here, it's kind of muddy. This was definitely over here on the road. Don't see any erosion evidence at all of it crossing. I don't think it did. I think it just slightly went into the edge of the road. Then it stopped raining. It ran out of water, and it slowly went through this culvert pipe, kind of acting like a retention pond. Yeah, we're dropping a lot. That is a really small pipe. It's only 18 inches. As soon as it drains back all the way, we'll be back. Maybe a couple days or so. Probably a couple days. Oh. Boom. It's still falling. It fell so slow because it's hung up on trees that made it go down really slowly. I knew that was gonna happen. That's why I turned the camera. Did you hear that violent noise of air getting forced out of that hollow cavity? That was awesome. It's still relieving pressure. After unclogging that culvert pipe, the surface here where the ice has sunken down, because the sheet of ice is sinking as it's getting lifted up there because all the weight's getting pushed down on one end, the whole surface of the water is already frazzle ice. It's ready to freeze over again. There's a lot of activity going on right now as far as sinking. So this ice, this is like 4 inches. Pretty thick ice. Shifting around right now. Whole thing is settling. It's about to slip. It's about to fall in again. You hear it? It's slowly moving. It's about to just give. If that didn't do it, nothing's gonna do it. That was like a 40-pound rock. That's why I had such trouble tossing it. It cracked it, but nothing fell. A lot of that might even remain held up since it's already, the water's completely gone. Maybe it'll collapse when the sun hits it. But it is so cold out that the water here that came up on top of the ice, there's a couple inches of water sitting on top of the ice. And it already froze in the past 25 minutes we've been here. All right, we're gonna take off now. We'll be back and we will do a check on this. I think I broke my record. That is the coldest unclogging we've ever done. It is 6 degrees out and that was really cold. I had to keep getting back in the vehicle while I was recording that time lapse, and as soon as I was done unclogging, just absolutely freezing out there. The wind doesn't help either. It was so cold that just in the 30 minutes I was there, engine completely cooled down. All right, everyone, we're back the same night, and I'm glad I didn't wait out here until morning because there's really not much to see. Just like I thought, a lot of these ice sheets, because they're so thick, they didn't even collapse. Like you see this whole area back here, that is now suspended over a foot above the actual water. It's not going to collapse because if you see, there's at least 6 inches of ice being held up by a rock here, a rock over here, and some other numerous things that's not going to collapse. If you look over here, this is the culvert. It has now been reduced to a very small trickle. It's now leaving the same rate it's coming in. Underneath this ice, there's still a few feet of water out there. This whole area here has collapsed. Over here has not collapsed yet. All right, let's get a quick look across the road and then we will get on our way. The exiting end of the pipe. All right, the flowing water has melted all the ice out of the way. There's still a good flow. This is gonna surely freeze back up again in the next couple days. Being very careful. Walking out here. Remember, this is like 6 inches. I'm standing on this big piece which is laying flat. It's gonna definitely be able to hold my weight. I just want to look underneath here. You see it's so cold out that even though this 6-inch piece of ice is being suspended, look at that. The water actually froze underneath it already. Sealed itself again. So this whole thing here is above. Wow, that looks really cool when I shine my light underneath it. Look at that green look. So if I put the light under there, that is so cool. I hope today's video was interesting, everyone. Thanks for watching and have a great day.